what is the best way to replace an old air compressor with a new air compressor?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. It's something that we're faced with a lot. Like you said, it's as systems age, they grow more and more leaks. That has the compressor run itself to death. While we've just, the standard has just been changed in FBA 13 to require UL listed compressors. Up to now, that has not been the case. So you see a lot of, certainly like retail style air compressors on these systems. And I think the best tip to give for replacing, especially those types, is to forget about horsepower and just look at CFM. So CFM is cubic feet per minute of air. It's the output that the air compressor has, and it's the most relevant metric for a compressor in fire sprinklers, right? Because it's the CFM, it's the flow of the air compressor that is the number that we use, it's the number that we use to get us to sizing the compressor properly. And we are not using horsepower, right? And there's often a big disparity, not often, almost exclusively a big disparity in the horsepower to CFM values in a retail style air compressor versus a fire protection air compressor. Retail air compressors are made to run air tools and things like that. So their focus is on PSI, the pressure, that they're getting 100 PSI out of there. And they don't really care too much about flow. And what you'll see very often is very high horsepower compressors in the retail environment with very low flow. Okay, so like something like a 3 horsepower air compressor might have a 2.5 CFM air output. Well, so to your point, that compressor fails, right? We have this retail compressor, it says 3 horsepower on it, and it's something that somebody bought from Home Depot or whatever, and it's sitting there and it failed. You need to replace it. You're out there and you need to get a new compressor. Hopefully you're replacing it now with a listed air compressor, because that's required. Hopefully you're replacing it with a General Air Products air compressor. But as you remove that compressor, instead of looking at the horsepower and calling a distributor or whatever and saying, hey, I need a 3 horsepower air compressor, that's not going to be correct. You need a compressor that does 2.5 CFM in this instance, right? Well, as it turns out, like fire protection air compressors are designed to maximize airflow to meet the 30-minute fill with as minimal horsepower as possible. So what you would find in the 2.5 CFM range from a fire protection air compressor like one of ours is that it might only be I believe it's our 1/3 horsepower that does about 3 CFM. So the difference in price from our 3 horsepower to our 1/3 horsepower is easily over $1,000. And by taking a minute to focus on CFM, ignore horsepower, focus on CFM, you can get yourself into a much smaller fire protection air compressor. It's going to last a long time and be appropriately sized, and it's going to be at a good price point. You save yourself a lot of money that way.
Fantastic. That's good information.
All right.